Hello, hello everyone. I hope that you can hear me. I am setting everything up over here so that we can be ready to speak with you, hang out with you for this lunch hour or breakfast hour if you're on the West Coast. Hi, Dr. Rachel.
Hi there, how are you?
I am wonderful. I'm so glad that we're doing this. This is
I
awesome.
know, I know. It's exciting, and what's more exciting is the fact that we can talk about it beforehand and actually bring people into the experience with us and hopefully see them in person in DC on July 18th or in Cleveland on August 29th. So,
Yes, 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 yes. So I want to just create some context for everyone that you're looking at us, and this is the first time that we've done a Google Hangout together.
yeah.
And neither one of us is a techie person. So this is going to be all manner of magic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're going to need Dharma to show up for real.
So I just want you to hold the intention with us that this is going to go smoothly, it's going to be elegant, and we're going to have a blast together. As some of you know, Dr. Monica Oganda here, and I am one of the co-founders of Flourish, and I'm here with my co-founder and friend, Dr. Rachel Talton, and I wanted to get together with Dr. Rachel, so that we can answer all your questions. You've been sending emails, you've been sending Facebook messages, you've been texting people on the down low,
Right.
and trying to get tickets on the down low. So we wanted to set up a platform where we can answer your questions, where we can make sure that you feel served, so that you know what Flourish is all about, so that you know what's coming up in Washington, D.C. and in Cleveland, and all the wonderful things that we've got planned for you. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I am going to open up the chat to see if there are any questions so far. We have some questions already that you've been emailing, that you've been texting
Yeah.
and Facebooking for us, so we'll handle those. And if you
Just
cannot
send more
see,
questions. We're always looking for additional questions. Anything that you ladies have to have in terms of what you're looking for out of a flourish, and we'll get into what that means and what that would
Mhm.
mean to you. But any questions that you have about us, our industry expertise, or the whys of why we're doing this, which is really important in terms of creating the excitement about it. So
Mhm.
we're looking forward to hearing from you, and we
Yes,
definitely want this to be a two-way conversation. So
yes,
engage us. You have us
yes.
for this hour. Use it wisely.
That's right. That's right. People pay a lot of money to get to talk to us for an hour. So in terms of where to do that, if you are on your Google Plus or the Google Hangout page, you can enter your questions on that page just as a comment, and we'll be looking at that. You can also enter it on the group chat. On the screen, you have a group chat on your right-hand side, and you'll be able to see. We'll see those as well. We also have the Flourish Live, the Flourish Conference for Women Leadership fan page on Facebook open. So whether
Absolutely.
you're on Facebook or whether you're on Google, you can send us your questions, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. I want to see the people who are. I wonder if we can see the people who are viewing us. We have some folks
Yeah, that
viewing
would be
us.
fantastic. And those of you who have never done this before and don't know what she's talking about, look on your right hand side, your left hand side. I just want to be very transparent right now and let you know this is my very first Google Hangout. I'll be doing it again, but do not feel dismayed. Do not feel dismayed if it's your first time. It's okay. We all have to get there. It's about flourishing. It's about growth. So definitely we will be patient with you as you get that together. Also, if you were looking at me and I remind you of a 40s screen star, it is because we are in black and white so that I am not green for your viewing pleasure. Um, as we are being fully transparent here. So, it's interesting as we think about the nexus or the intersection of the work that Dr. Monica and I are so committed to doing for women and technology. How it's so important to utilize technology. How this platform is a tool for us to touch each and every one of you near and far, and that it's important that we use it effectively and wisely. But be patient with us as we will be with you as we do that. So can you see the folks, Monica? Because you know I can't. So as I was just speaking about technology and its fascinating and wonderful Dr. Monica disappeared.
That was like on cue, Rachel. That was beautiful.
I mean, I have no idea what people heard or what they didn't, but the bottom line is the conversation was about ensuring that we're utilizing technology to touch people's lives, and that we will continue to be patient with technology as we work with it, and be patient with you, our wonderful, flourishing women who we love so dearly and care so much about.
Yes. So I want us to give the people kind of like the context and the background of why Flourish, why you and me, how did we get this started, why is this important? You know, set the context for folks so that they understand what Flourish is all about and why now.
Absolutely. This is a story that I love to tell very much. And just shared it with two of our corporate sponsors this morning as they are going out into their institutions and selecting the right women in those institutions to participate. So we really started this important journey because we understand, as women who are flourishing ourselves, that each and every day we wake up as highly accomplished women making contributions to everyone and everything around us. So we wake up in the morning thinking about contributing to our industries, to our organizations, to our children, our husbands, the civic engagements that we have, the community around us, sometimes parents, and sometimes extended family. And those contributions are a wonderful thing and what make us who we are. But so often, little time is put back into our own priorities and viewing ourselves not as a reflection of those contributions that are external to us, but understanding that we need to align who it is that we are inside with those contributions. And so it's interesting, we talk about the science of flourishing and it really being about well-being, comprehensive well-being, meaning that you are successful, and achievement is not a bad word, nor is wealth. So that you are successful in your profession and in your industry, but that you also have healthy relationships and that your mind, body, and spirit are aligned. And it's a lot more, I was laughing the other day, it's a lot more than eating your broccoli and doing yoga. Well-being is more than that. So it's really about having healthy mental attitude, being fed intellectually, doing the work in the community, having those healthy relationships. And what we realized is that there are a community of these high-achieving women who are just like you and I, again, who make 50 contributions in the day before noon to, again, our industries, our organizations, etc. And very little time is put aside for us to focus on ourselves. So Flourish really seeks to answer two questions. And we think of the idea of flourishing as sort of this continuum. So on the left-hand side, on one side, there's this idea of inspiration. There's, imagine having lunch with Oprah Winfrey and the Dalai Lama. You sort of float away from that luncheon feeling you can do anything. You're completely inspired and motivated and spiritually fed. And that's really important, particularly for women. The other end of this continuum is skill building, and functional training, and executive development. All of us have had it in some way or another, certainly those of us who have achieved a level of success in their careers or in their business. You could go to Harvard's AMP program or Case Western Reserve's leadership development programs, and you walk away with a a cadre, a richness of experience and tools in your toolbox, and you can do all these wonderful things for your institutions and for your industry, yet you don't feel any differently. And so both are wonderful, but neither is sufficient. And so Flourish really seeks to be the nexus of the two, that the inspiration and engagement and collaboration and motivation are extremely important in our desire to be successful, whatever that means to you, as is functional skills building, as is creating and executing on a plan. And so we seek to be that nexus, which is why the day is really designed around both inspiration and strategy and action. The two questions that I talked about that we seek to answer are the following. Many high-achieving women claw, and I use that word purposefully, claw their way to the top. We make difficult decisions, and that's not to say that men don't too, because men do as well. They're just different decisions often, not always. Sometimes they're the same. But we ascend to these heights in our industries, in our professions, and our organizations, and we get to the top of that mountain, and sometimes we wonder, is this the mountain? Is this the right mountain? Do I even like it here?
Mm-hmm. This is it?
Yes. Is this what I dreamed it would be? Sometimes the answer is absolutely, and I'm so thrilled that I'm here. But what's next for me? What is next? What's the next move? Often these ascensions have happened quite organically, and so let's get really, really proactive about what that next step is. So that's the first question. The second question goes back to yoga and broccoli. Am I truly, truly joyful, clear, harmonious, in alignment with my own purpose and passion as I ascend to these heights and as I think about what the next step is? And again, neither is sufficient. Both are absolutely necessary. Understanding what's next for you strategically, but also being well holistically. Mm-hmm. So that's what we think about in Flourish, and we've created a wonderful environment and a safe space for women who really have ascended and seek to ascend to the highest heights in their industries.
That is awesome. I love to hear you talk about it because I know how passionate I am about Flourish. I know how passionate you are about Flourish. And the women that have already registered for the Flourish conference, when you go to flourishlive.com, you'll see what I'm talking about. It is really an experience. It's really a transformational experience because to Rachel's point, it's not just about we've all been to amazing conferences, not to take anything away from those. What I love about Flourish and what we're so passionate about is that we're matching that inspiration, that motivation, the chance to connect with like-minded, high-level executives and entrepreneurs just like you are, and then take that conversation to the next level, ascending to your point, to a higher high. So I love that. I have some questions here, Rachel, that I think we need to get started with. The number one question is, what is the actual day going to be like? What can I expect? What can I walk away with? What do I know that I'm going to be walking away with? I think that's a great question.
Yes, it's a great question. One of my favorite questions, in fact, to answer as I think about this day. I have to say that we together designed this as a conference that we want to go to. So literally, I thought to myself, if I have to be in a room for 8 hours, and it's not that we don't attend a number of conferences that are fantastic, because we do, and will continue to support particularly women's organizations who do this work. So it was really about how do we design a day that engages individuals, also allows them the time and space to reflect, provides some real strategic, rich kind of takeaways for them, but also gives them the inspiration. And so we did just that. We took some of the best ideas out there, thought about what the science of flourishing is, and what those phases of truly flourishing are, and we took them and designed a day around it. So in the morning, what can you expect? In the morning, you will arrive at Flourish ready to reflect on your own career and life, ready to be transformed within yourself, and we look forward to facilitating that. So you arrive in the morning, and the first part of the day, I want you to know that Flourish is designed very specifically around the idea of intimacy. Intimacy is a big, big part of the way that we design the day and the way that we really sort of deliver our value proposition to the marketplace. So we're keeping the rooms very intimate on purpose. In fact, again, I'm receiving texts and emails daily. Hello, folks. Yes, it's sold out. Join us in DC because people are going, well, can't you make it 125, or can't we extend this to 150? And the reason that we're purposefully keeping the day small is because the ability to actually impact the lives of each and every woman who joins us is extremely, extremely important. Mm-hmm. So as you arrive, the first part of the day is about inspiration. The reason I shared the story of intimacy with you is that our morning is filled with 4 executive chats. So as opposed to the traditional panel discussions where there's a panel on stage and there's a room of women, you're actually going to get up close and personal with some of the most powerful people in the communities that we're engaged in. So you'll have a discussion with them about how they've ascended to the heights of success that they have. What have been some of the stumbling blocks that they've experienced? What are the challenges that they've overcome? And the fact that flourishing is a verb, not a noun. So each and every day they're seeking to grow and learn and be their best self. And that is, again, not a destination. It is a journey. And so those inspirational stories from some of the top leaders, your Jody Birds, the CEO of Vitamix, Gina Adams, the top lobbyist for FedEx, the mayor of Baltimore, Mayor Rollins Blake, absolutely outstanding. Some fantastic entrepreneurs that we'll hear from in both communities. We'll get to get up close and personal with them in our executive fireside chats. And so that's the morning. We'll of course set the context, talk about the science of flourishing, and then we'll spend these fantastic 90 minutes with these wonderful executives and entrepreneurs. The luncheon is all about, so the morning was about inspiration. You float away, being inspired and motivated. You have just had lunch with someone as powerful and as caring and giving and impactful as an Oprah Winfrey or a Dalai Lama. Then the lunch is all about really acknowledging the greatness of that community. So we are actually doing 2 awards. One for the Executive of the Year, so the Flourish Executive of the Year Award. And this is for a corporate leader who is in the nonprofit space, the government space, or of course the for-profit space. And then we're also doing an Executive of the Year Award. So the Flourish Entrepreneur of the Year Award is for a woman who's formed her own company and who's out there creating jobs every day, like Dr. Monica and myself, who are providing, not just creating jobs, but providing new innovations to the marketplace each and every day. And so those 2 awards will be provided during lunch. So the morning is about inspiration, the lunch is about recognition, recognizing those who flourish. And so please submit your nominations. Each and every one of you knows a woman who is flourishing in her industry, in her career, in her life, in her community activities. go to flourish.com nominations and flourish.com/awards and nominate someone for both entrepreneur and or executive of the year. The afternoon is, every time I talk about the afternoon, I really think about this idea of what are the activities that we would want to be engaged with in order to flourish. And so the first part of the afternoon is about reflection. And we designed it very specifically because we attend so many conferences, fantastic venues for networking and for gaining rich information, but often there isn't a time to synthesize this information and think about how it is impacting my life. And so we created this space and are partnering with one of the foremost leaders in women in management, Dr. Diana Villamoria, to have designed an assessment which each of the women will focus on her assessment and start on her 100-day action plan. So the Flourish Action Plan, you talk about takeaways. This is a document with your name on it and your priorities and what you plan to accomplish over the next 100 days. Huge, huge. We think that it's something unique in the marketplace and definitely something interesting. So the first part of that afternoon is reflection. The final part of this journey, this fantastic journey of the day, is about accountability and action. So, first part of the afternoon is about self-reflection, individual writing and individual thinking and exercises. Then we move into dyads, which is two amazing women, hopefully two who haven't met or certainly haven't had the opportunity to have this level of conversation with each other. The second part of the afternoon, we move into groups of 4, and we have some amazing, incredible exercises for these women to do, to think about what it is that they have stated that they're going to do, what's going to make this time different, and how to hold themselves and each other accountable and love each other through the process and really encourage each other through the process.
Yes, I want to say that is one of the most transformational parts of the day, because a lot of times some of the goals that we have set for ourselves and the dreams and the declarations of what we want to accomplish over the next 90, 100 days, sometimes some women have not even given themselves permission to say it, let alone say it to someone else. And so to have the opportunity to have another person there who you respect, who you've come to trust, who is holding your feet to the fire, and who, like you said, lovingly but very firmly has you as though it's already done. And whatever the resources that you might need and the encouragement that you might need in order to make that happen, that is unparalleled. It's priceless.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. Certainly, you think about the question about what's going to make it different this time, and what are we going to add to yoga and broccoli that truly enhances our well-being, mentally, physically, emotionally, and professionally, which is extremely important. And so we leave the day, and of course we have a closing ceremony, we leave the day with everyone having a very high level of energy, with a real focus on how am I going to show up as the best me tomorrow, for my team at my organization, for the institution that I'm engaged in, because we spend most of our time there, for my family and for the relationships that are so important to me, and for the community. And so it's again, as I think about and we talk about the design of this day, it's really meant to impact each and every woman who's involved in such a way that it's sustained beyond the joy of having connected with some of the brightest minds and best in-class individuals in the room, but that there is that strategic, very concrete takeaway, which is your 100-day action plan.
Yes, and that's important, because part of, if we were to use the planting or the gardening analogy for this whole process of flourishing, a lot of the juicy part happens in the dark. It happens while we're working. It happens while we are, in the process of things. And so it is important that when we make that declaration, as we walk away inspired and connected and all of the wonderful things that happen during the day, it's important to be able to transfer it into day-to-day life so that when the going gets tough, you feel supported, you feel accountable, and you feel equipped to make good on the declaration that you've had for your life and for your business and your career and your relationships.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a great way to answer that question, Dr. Rachel. So why Cleveland? Why DC? We've gotten some questions about, oh, can you come to this town? Can you come to my town? Can you come here? Can you come there? We're like, sure. So why did we choose these particular cities?
Well, that's kind of an easy question. I'm just thinking, when are we headed to Idaho?
All right.
I want to know. So come on, Idaho, request us. Yes. So why are we in Cleveland and why are we in DC? Frankly, we're Cleveland is easy. I live here, and so we, there's certainly a lot of reasons to be in Cleveland, and for those of you who are interested in doing Cleveland Flourish next year, because this year is sold out, there's definitely a lot happening in Cleveland in the entrepreneurial space, as well as the revitalization of our community. So it's a great place to think. We have some of the highest powered women in the world right here in our community. The president of the Links Incorporated is here. Beth Mooney, the president of Key Bank, is here. As I mentioned, Jody Berg, president. These are all women. Presidents of Vitamix, Virginia Albanese, president of FedEx Custom Critical. So we have some outstanding trailblazers in our community. 27 institutions of higher learning right here in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Many of them run by women. So Cleveland's a great place, in addition to, of course, the selfish reasons that I love it here and live here, and I think this community is one that should be served in this way, and the need obviously is tremendously great. Washington, D.C., what an outstanding community for women. Again, you have some of the top lawyers, lobbyists, government officials, and those who serve the government in Washington, D.C. But it is also one of the fastest growing communities for women in business in the country. So we chose Washington, D.C. It happens to be between Atlanta and Cleveland, where Dr. Monica and myself live. But it's also a wonderful, wonderful place for women in business who are thriving, extremely successful, those who serve, obviously, the government entities, but also those who serve all of the associations there in the communities. The surrounding areas of Baltimore and Northern Virginia are just rich with incredible women. And so that's why DC. They're both Cleveland and DC are just tremendous communities for women in business, as well as obviously some of the top people in corporate, government, and nonprofit in both of those communities. So we're excited about being able to serve them.
Yeah, we really are. Gorgeous Edward says New Orleans is easy too. I agree. I love New Orleans.
And my mom lives there, so you know what? We have a selfish excuse, which is always good for women who are flourishing.
That's perfect. So thank you, Ms. Edwards, for bringing that up. So we talk about some people who may have joined this Google Hangout may not have yet seen the video series that you and I have prepared, where we actually delve into the science of flourishing, because there actually is a science to it. So give us a little brief Cliff Note version of what we're talking about when we talk about the 4 stages of flourishing, the 4 phases of flourishing, and how the science backs that up.
Absolutely. So we think about, and I will keep this very high level because I bore people to death with my data. Data versus Dharma. But we think about, we've actually broken flourishing down into 12 dimensions again.
Yes.
But these 12 distinctions are really about reflecting on who it is that you are. And And that's important, because remember the mountain analogy that I gave you a few minutes ago. The idea that you spend 25 years climbing to the top of this mountain, and only to find that perhaps it's the right mountain, and then we're asking ourselves what's next, or that it isn't the right mountain. So it's extremely important that we sort of reflect on who we are at our very core. Some of that is about who we are spiritually, who we are emotionally, what our purpose is, our passion is, what are our unique areas of expertise and contribution to the world. So that's really the first thing, and always should be the first thing. Because who you are, again, of course, is going to be a reflection of how you show up and what level of contribution you should make. And that should always be its highest. The next thing is about how we connect to the world around us. Extremely important that we have healthy relationships with the individuals that start, of course, with our immediate family, but are extended to our extended family and our friends and our community, our teams at our organizations, absolutely critical. Again, those community organizations and civic organizations, nonprofit organizations, educational institutions that we serve. And so how we engage the world around us and the contributions, once we understand who it is that we are and what gifts we have to offer the world, how we engage others is extremely important. And the next thing that we do is we seek to achieve. And it is extremely important, you women out there, that it is not a bad thing to want to achieve your highest, absolute highest level of financial, professional, and personal success. That's and so speaking that achievement and actually getting out there every day and seeking higher and higher levels of achievement, whatever that means to you. And we're not talking about the title of your position, because you could be perfectly happy in middle management. You have your home, you have your family, you have prioritized. It's always a matter of consequences and payoffs. We speak about that often, and so it's not necessarily a matter of thinking about what title that is for you. What does success mean for you? But you define it, and then you get about the business of living it. And so that's extremely important achievement. And then the final phase of this is really about that ongoing legacy. So flourishing, again, is a verb, not a noun. It is a journey, not a destination. And so thinking about how you not only flourish today, but flourish for years to come, and how that flourishing is like a butterfly. We think about all of these analogies where it's really about not only the impact that you have on your own life, but the impact that you have on thousands and thousands of others for years and years to come. And so that's sort of how we think about flourishing. And there's a tremendous science by Dr. Martin Seligman on the notion of flourishing. It's interesting. He has five dimensions. We have 4 phases, and really they're very, very aligned together. There's some tremendous work. Of course, we all know about the work that Sheryl Sandberg has done on leaning in, and she really talks about that notion that we should be proud to achieve, and we should step forward and work toward achievement within our institutions. And she's got some great stories there and great work that she's done. Arianna Huffington has done some tremendous work about, again, it's not just broccoli and yoga. We have to take care of ourselves and sleep and re-engage ourselves emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And so that's her work in Thrive. And we sort of synthesize that work and have designed the model of flourishing, which I've just shared with you. So I said I wasn't going to make that long, but of course the science of it is my thing. So
that's right.
Real excited about it, and and it's an ongoing circle. You always have to go back to the beginning and self-reflect and start again. How am I, as I self-reflect, how am I then engaging? How am I reaching the highest level of achievement possible for me? How is this going to be an ongoing and sustained legacy? And again, you self-reflect. So
Yeah, and this is something that I find so exciting. Is you and I, Rachel, always joke about you being data and me being Dharma. And what's interesting about that is that whatever it is that you are in the surface, you're the opposite in the bottom. And so somebody who's very Dharma and woo-woo in the surface is passionate about data and is passionate about proof. And so that's something that you and I definitely have are very aligned with, is that and it's so exciting to me that the ancient wisdom of human civilization, what we have always known about what makes the human spirit soar, what makes the human soul prosper, is now being quantified by science. It's like, oh, nice of you to join us, science. We've been knowing this forever.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So tell us about these amazing speakers that we're going to have. I'm particularly proud that my friend Mara Glazer is coming to the Washington, D.C. Contingency, because she has been in the area forever. She's a wonderful entrepreneur in her own right, and her rise has been quite meteoric. She was underneath her father's wings for quite a bit. She grew up with entrepreneurship. Her father, Bill Glazer, is one of the founders of the Glazer Kennedy inner circle, and well known in entrepreneurial circles. So for her to come into her own, it's very much a testament to the concept of flourishing and this new model of success, that we get to craft our own destiny. We get to really speak into the vision of our lives that we want to create, and then back it up with action and with results, and in a way that feels authentic, that it feels true, that is personally fulfilling, and still makes an impact and great income out in the world. So I'm very proud of her. But we have some other exciting and really impactful women that are part of the lineup. Tell us more about who's joining Washington, D.C. and who's joining Cleveland.
Absolutely. So we mentioned Mayor Rollins Blake, who is going to speak about overcoming challenges to rise to the meteoric. I mean, she's obviously mayor of one of the largest cities in the country, but is also very well known for the impact that she has, and for her straightforward style. And I know that women are just going to leave there. First of all, many may not have met the mayor, and will leave there completely inspired by her story of overcoming challenges and continuing to achieve higher levels of success. We have so many. We have Kathy Parks from ABC who will be joining us as the MC. We have Candace Camille, who owns a bed and breakfast, the only bed and breakfast in the Washington D.C. area, which is beautiful, pure euphoria. We have Melissa Johnson Simpkins, who is just this incredible dear friend and just an incredible powerhouse. So pleased that she will be there. Carmen Ortiz McGee, who is again, well, frankly, I mean, it's like, do we have to say powerhouse? They're all just amazing. All of each and every one of them. Executive Vice President of Aon, former executive director and president of the $1 Billion Roundtable, who's just incredible. We have Gina Adams, as I mentioned, listed as one of the top, not only the top in her organization, but the top power couples in the DC area, she and her wonderful husband. We have Rachna Chowdhury, who is the co-founder of Popbox, multi-million-dollar, extremely impactful organization that allows the voice of the people to speak to Congress. We have Kirsten. I'm going to slaughter her last name, so I won't even try. But she is the president and CEO of Arreston Limousine, the 12th or 13th largest limousine company in the country, who is this incredible powerhouse. I can't wait to see and meet her. My goodness, am I leaving anyone out in DC? That's a really packed agenda, and we're just so excited. I don't have the list in front of me, so I literally may have left some out, but I don't think so.
No, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And I'm so looking forward to also meeting the mayor of Baltimore, the Honorable Stephanie Rawlings Blake, who's going to be our keynote speaker for the luncheon. And I just saw some of her Facebook posts. She does amazing work in the community, and she does it because she wants to, because it's in her heart to do. It's not just because it's part of her job. And I think that that's part of, when you and I talk about doing our God job, it's really that. It's about doing what we do for work doesn't feel like work, because it's so aligned with who we are, with the passion in our heart, and she's an amazing testament to what that looks like. I'm so excited to be able to meet her.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and she and all of the amazing speakers. She has been gracious enough to move her schedule around, to be there for much of the day, because this is something that she believes in. She's so passionate about the advancement of women and supporting women. And we know, I've been asked the question many times, why, so I get these texts and these Facebook posts and ideas. Flourish for girls. We want to flourish for middle managers. And when are you going to have a flourish for men? It's coming. It's coming, guys. It's coming. And why did we start with the high achieving woman? Why did we start with the executive and the tenured entrepreneur? Is there going to be a flourish for startups? Is there a flourish for again, for girls, for teens? It's coming. It's coming. But we started very specifically for two reasons. One of them, selfish, and that is because I look at my own life as both an executive for many years and an entrepreneur, and a successful entrepreneur, and I understand that as I wake up every day, making contributions to the world around me, tremendous contributions to the world around me, that there's very little time to give back to myself. And so the easiest conversation for me to have, and the easiest work to do, is around the work that mirrors my own challenges and our own sort of questions. As we continue to build the model, I think it's extremely absolutely flourish for girls, absolutely flourish for middle managers and those seeking to rise. But those who are already risen are educating those girls by the ability to model us. When I go and speak to college and high school and give speeches all across the region and country, people come up to me all the time and say, I want to be like you. So if we can make those women healthy and whole, people want to be like, then that creates the ripple effect that we're talking about. The women in the room for Flourish are creating jobs. They're hiring those middle managers. They're raising those little girls. And so starting with them, we think, is not only a selfish, which is not a bad thing, reason, but also a really altruistic one, which is that the impact of high achieving women is broad and wide.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When I started doing the When Women Thrive virtual summit last year, which is actually going to start in a few days this summer as well, that is one of the things that I found in my research, is that when women thrive, everybody wins, everybody prospers. And so it's not this linear thing about it's just me and my achievements and my contribution and look at me. It really, really is when a woman is fully supported, when she is fully equipped and empowered and she's in her center, right, then everybody benefits from that. And it's such an amazing thing to watch the ripple effect just go wider and wider.
Absolutely. I think about when we first started, I think our very first mission statement, as a matter of fact, was that when women are truly flourishing, that they can change the world. They change their family dynamic, they change their organizations, they change their communities, and they truly change the world. And it's just the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to make sure that everybody has the link that they need in order to find out more what our website is. It's flourishlive.com. And you can find out more there about the speakers that are going to be in the Washington, D.C. contingency and the Cleveland contingency. Of course, you can register. Cleveland is sold out. I want you to know that, but you can get on the waiting list if you wish.
Go ahead, text me.
Yeah. I know. We keep getting the texts and saying, no, you've got to save a place for me. But we still have some tickets available in Washington, D.C., and they are going fast.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that you connect there. And we're, of course, on Facebook, facebook.com facebook.com/flourishlive. Dr. Rachel is on Facebook. I am on Facebook as well. In fact, there have been some people that have been already spreading the word. Thank you, Diamond, for spreading the word on Flourish and this particular Google Hangout. And if you are, you may have gotten so you may have gotten the link. You may not have been here live, although we're very, very happy that you, the people that are here, thank you for being here with us. I'm looking to see if there are any other questions. There were a couple of people who had some comments about, well, I told you about the New Orleans, the suggestion about New Orleans, so that was awesome.
My mom will be thrilled.
Yes, so if you have any more questions, enter them into the event page. I'm actually looking at it now, and I'm looking at the Facebook fan page so that we can stay connected with you. Flourishlive.com is where you want to go in order to find out more information about all the good stuff that we've got coming in Washington, in Cleveland, and beyond. So, Rachel, why did you, I always like to hear you speak on your perspective on this. Why did you, why now for you this time, Flourish?
Yes, that's a great question. So I own a marketing research. I'm not sure I even introduced myself. Hello, my name is Dr. Rachel Colton, President and CEO of Synergy Marketing Strategy and Research and co-founder of Flourish. So my research company and brand strategy firm has been in existence for almost 12 years. Just a wonderful organization. I'm so, I was just thinking about how proud I am of the work that we're engaged in. We help companies grow, mostly large institutions. So most of our clients are government entities or big brands on the retail, banking, manufacturing, and healthcare side of the world. We do a lot of research, so we help them understand their customers and what their customers needs and how to connect their brands to those customers. So that's the work that we do. And able to have the space to live this dream and to serve women in this way. Started Synergy in 2002. Soon after I became a young widow. After my husband passed away, I realized that I wanted to use the gifts that God gave me in a different way. Those marketing gifts, the research gifts that we're talking about, I wanted to use them in a way that really helped brands grow from the inside out. And so my PhD from Case Western Reserve University is actually in management. It's a doctor of management, and the focus was management and not marketing, and I did that on purpose. And so about a year and a half ago, I started to do some of that self-reflecting. Remember, we said that reflecting was the first step in flourishing.
That's right.
Do some of that self-reflecting and realize that that my favorite part of the work, I love doing research, obviously. I have a research company, and that's the work that we do every single day. But my favorite work is turning that research into a story and helping people's lives actually change because the product is improved, or because the processes are improved, or because we're now providing a better customer experience, or and when that happens, people get excited, customers get excited, employees get excited. We go in and we do training and executive development, and people transform. And I realized that I love marketing and I love research, love brand work, but I really love the transformation of individuals. And so started thinking about what I could do about that. In addition, of course, to the training that we do at Synergy, which is exciting, and working with boards and employees. And there's a specific and sort of particular affinity for women for obvious reasons, executive women for obvious reasons, but that affinity for that work and watching individuals flourish in addition to watching institutions flourish is just, again, that nexus that's like makes me feel whole. And so worked together with a group of friends and women and our mastermind group, Monica, Dr. Monica being one of them, and sharing this vision, and really thinking about starting in Cleveland. How could we drive this conversation to manifest itself in the world? This conversation about women being, you know, particularly executive women, being in a state sometimes of overwhelm, of contributing to the world around them so much, and for so much of their time, and not making the requisite contribution to themselves. And I thought, okay, well, I'll do a conference. Let's talk about that. And Dr. Monica said, well, that's a really great idea. Let's do it together. Well, what should we call it? I said, let's call it Flourish. There's an ad agency here. I don't know if I ever told you this, Monica. There's an ad agency here named Flourish. Did I tell you that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yep. And they're wonderful. They're a fantastic firms. So whenever people say, well, did you go over to Flourish, and what's going on with Synergy? So actually, Flourish is a great firm. The reason the name Flourish is so meaningful, because it really is, again, a verb, not a noun. It is about being healthy and whole and thriving from the inside out, and ensuring that all of those dimensions in your life are thriving, dramatically thriving, actively thriving. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of that transformation. That's why now. Why now is because I actually took the time to reflect on my mountain, and I am thrilled and proud of the work that we do at Synergy. Very proud of the fact that I don't have to be engaged in every project that occurs, and that I can show up being my best self in those places that bring me joy, and I think bring our clients the most value, and still do the work of Flourish, in my spare time, which of course I have plenty of, because
that's right.
And 10 committees and 7 organizations.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's amazing when things are important to you. You make the time and space for them.
That's just right.
And
well, I was always so, and this is, I remember, and some people may not. We'll get into the personal story, the backstory of Flourish when you come to Washington, when you come to Cleveland. But it always amazes me how the synergies, the parallels of, particularly of our lives, Rachel, and also our professional development, because when Women Thrive was actually born out of this ramp up to having that live event, of having an in-person connection with people, and wanted to do it virtually because there's so many people that wanted to be part of it, and we're all over the world, and it's easier to come together virtually than it is to come together physically, and yet it has culminated in this Flourish conference for women in leadership, exactly out of that same vision, out of the vision of, when we get together and when we elevate one another, the critical mass that's reached and the impact that's available is beyond words. So I'm very glad that we merged our visions together. The ideas that we had separately have become even bigger because of coming together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I want to also remind everyone, I know that I'm kind of like the operating officer here and handling the details. I want to also remind everyone that you want to go to flourishlive.com to register for your DC seat, whether general registration or VIP registration. We also have that option. But you want to do it today because the early bird ends today.
Oh, yes.
The registration is almost $400, and you can get it for less than $200 when you register today. So you want to make sure that you go to flourishlive.com and pick your city, pick the registration level. You can enter Livecast as a promotional code, and it'll give you $100 off your registration. And we are looking forward to seeing you. Not only in our Facebook page and everything else, but I want to see you, like face to face, eye to eye.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are going to want to have one of these Dr. Rachel hugs. Let me tell you, they are famous, infamous. You gotta show up in DC or Cleveland to get a hug from Dr. Monica and Dr. Rachel.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what? There's one thing before we depart. There's one thing that we didn't dig into, and that is the VIP experience. I do want to just share a little bit because after the plenary leaves, in each city there are 12 very, very fortunate. Everyone that experiences Flourish will be transformed and fortunate. But there are 12 individuals who self-select. You can go to the registration page and select VIP. There are just a few, frankly, left in Cleveland. Actually, I think there are only 3 left. No, there are only 2 left in Cleveland after this morning. So 2 in Cleveland. But after the end of the day, after our closing ceremonies, the VIPs experience a very special dinner. And it's going to be outstanding. They actually also have an evening stay at the host hotel. So in DC, that is the Fairfax at Embassy Row. Let's get the details out there as well. The Fairfax at Embassy Row, our fantastic host hotel in DC on July 18th. That is Flourish. Be there. So in that evening, they have a paid stay, and their stay is included. At the host hotel. The next morning, Saturday morning, July 19th, there is a VIP breakfast with just the 12 VIPs and 4 hours of executive coaching. And this is going to be, so you imagine that you've created this 100-day plan. You're very, very focused on what your life is going to entail and how you plan to thrive over the next 100 days. And so that VIP session the next day gives us 4 hours to really dig into sort of what those priorities are, how we plan to get them accomplished, peeling the onion back on a little bit on some of the mindset that's been occurring previously, and really doing some in-depth what we call transformation immersion. So really doing some immersive work around what those priorities are. And so the registration for VIP is $650, which is less than an hour with either one of us from a coaching perspective. So it's obviously the dinner, the brunch, and the stay at the hotel is a gift, is our gift to you. So if you have a challenge or several, or an opportunity, a great opportunity in front of you, and you want that third-party perspective in terms of what's next for me, the VIP experience is unmatched, and I suggest you take part in it. In fact, again, I was sharing that story this morning, which is why there are only 2 left in Cleveland, and an individual said, "Are there any left? I want to get one of those," and so we're very excited about the VIP experience.
Yeah, and it's a part of elevating the conversation of what leadership means, because not only do you get to, in your own center and in your own life with your own priorities, and as we mentioned before, managing those payoffs and consequences, get to elevate that conversation and be your own VIP. but also what it means to walk into the room and lift lift the energy there just by your presence. And that is what we have committed to do, this, which is why we have the high level amazing speakers that we have. It is why Rachel and I decided to partner up to give you our coaching independent of each other is already powerful, and together is a movement. So we, from all angles, we wanted to make sure that we're just elevating the whole conversation of what it means to be a woman in leadership, what it means to flourish, what it means to make an impact in the world. And people are, I mean, it's amazing to me how quickly people are catching on, Rachel, because, you know, we haven't talked about it very long. We've just put it out there, and just by social equity, which was the word that we used yesterday when we were talking, just by people knowing you, just by people knowing me, people have been opting into the video training series that we've made available. They've been registering to Flourish Cleveland, which is why it sold out. The tickets in Washington are going fast, and the buzz is building. It's in social media, it's in our email boxes, it's in text messages, and so I'm really just looking forward to serving people when we get there, and giving them the famous Flourish hug, the famous Rachel hug, the famous Monica hug.
That's the best part. I just want you to know. No, I think there are several elements as we think about as we depart today and think about why you would want to attend an event like Flourish. A couple of reasons. Again, we talked about this continuum between inspiration and motivation, connection and engagement, and the other end being these very concrete skills and resources, strategy and plans that are necessary in order to achieve the highest levels of you and the success that you have. And so that's the one thing that you take away. The nexus of the two, extremely important. Some level of inspiration and motivation, connection and engagement, but also that plan, that concrete thing that is in your hand, your name on it and your priorities for your life. Is extremely important. Another thing that you gain from this day is the ability to connect and engage with other women who are literally on a daily basis facing the same questions, the same opportunities, the same challenges that you are. We designed the day really specifically around that highest level woman in the entrepreneurial space and in her executive space, such that it would be a safe environment to have these discussions. So that's another thing that you leave with. Finally, I think I talked with a very high level executive last 2 weeks ago, and she's watching this. You know exactly who you are. We had this discussion about the questions that Flourish seeks to answer. One, you've reached this mountain, the top of this mountain, and A is, do you even like it here? Is this the right mountain for you? And if the answer is yes, then what's next? And if the answer is no, then what's next? Mm-hmm. So that's the first question. Second question, again, is, am I in alignment, in harmony, and finding joy and well-being throughout this process and throughout this journey? And in my discussions with her, we were literally having a conversation about the sponsorship package and about their sponsorship benefits. And she said, I have to tell you, and it's kind of embarrassing to say, but I feel like I am buying for myself and for my team a day to focus on me because I haven't answered these questions. She said, Rachel, I'm embarrassed, but it's the truth. If you ask me those questions, I think I could give you the answers of a book I read, what I think the answers should be. But for my own life, I haven't answered those questions yet. And I feel like I'm buying a day to just focus on myself and answer those questions. So that is priceless, absolutely priceless. And I think it's I encourage you and invite you that even if you can't attend either of the Flourish events, and I certainly hope that if you can't attend one, you take the time to attend another. Buy yourself a day, ladies, and I say this with love. buy yourself a day to focus on your own mountain and whether or not you're finding joy in that process.
Yeah, well said, Rachel. Well said. It really is imperative that we drink as we pour. We pour a lot, and it is also imperative that we, do so from a full well. So thank you for being with us. I am so appreciative of the time that you took to be with us on this Google Hangout. I had fun interacting with you on Facebook and on the Google Plus chat room. And Rachel, thank you for being here. I love hanging out with you.
Absolutely. We usually go in the same room, so this is fun.
Well, it was so interesting, right? Because you're in Cleveland, I'm in Atlanta, so we typically hang out on a virtual platform, and so when we get to be in person, it just blows the roof off.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to connecting in DC in a few weeks, and looking forward to seeing you guys when you go to flourishlive.com and you pick your registration level so that you can choose the city, choose the engagement that you are going to come with, the commitment level that you're going to come with, and looking forward to seeing you. flourishlive.com is where you want to go, and I want to see you on our Facebook fan page, and send us a note, support@flourishlive.com, and I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Absolutely.
Any last words, Rachel?
Oh, just wishing you in every area of your life that you flourish and thrive. We look forward to seeing you. Definitely go to our Facebook page and like it. You'll get lots of updates and information. We're going to be doing, now that we're closing in, we're going to be doing some contests and some really fun and exciting things for the DC events as well as the Cleveland events. So definitely go to our Facebook page. Friend me on Facebook, Trust Branding, pretty much everywhere, on Twitter, etc. And we look forward to seeing you in person, and look forward to supporting you in your journey to flourish.
Yes,
so God bless you, we love you, and God bless the United States of America.
You're so sweet. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.